A function is one-to-one if every y value only partners with one x value. In other words, a function is one-to-one if it passes the horizontal line test. Sorry, I already made this video once and I made a mistake, so that's why I have red x's here. Look, these are not one-to-one. If you draw a horizontal line, and if it crosses at two or more places, then your function is not one-to-one, and therefore it doesn't have an inverse. So that's why there's a red x on this blue line. The same thing with this one. Fails the horizontal line test. Therefore, it is not one-to-one, and it does not have an inverse. This line, graph of an exponential function, horizontal line, crosses at one spot, everywhere where you can possibly draw a horizontal line. So this is one-to-one, and it does have an inverse. Okay, so to graph the inverse and its original function graph should be symmetrical about the y equals x line. Okay, so that's a slope of 1, y-intercept of 0. This is the identity function, right? So you want to sketch that diagonal line. It should be, perfectly splitting these into two sides. Mine isn't super good. So I've got my y equals x line. If I was to make an estimation, like if I draw a perpendicular line from here to here, I need to be the same distance going in the opposite direction of the y equals x line. So it's just a guesstimation because we don't have the actual function. Okay, so it looks to be that this is the same distance away from the y equals x line. So you can draw yourself some reference points. Make sure that they're always the same distance away. So there's my next point here. Like if I was just to pick this point, if I want to draw a symmetrical point on the other side, I need to make sure it's the same distance away from the y equals x line. So that's where another reference point is going to be. You pick any place on the original function graph and then give yourself a perpendicular line to find out how far away you need to be for your inverse graph. So here, if I make it perpendicular, I need to be about the same distance away. So if I was to be perpendicular, same distance away, should be right here. So there's a good sketch of the inverse function. Okay, so the green line is a graph of the inverse.